Tashidele. Hello. In this video I want to talk about the 7-point training for developing bodhicitta, which is the wish to achieve enlightenment for all sentient beings. And because I'm limited in the amount of time I can use in putting up a video on YouTube, I've decided that I'm not going to videotape me doing the meditation with you. I'm going to give you the points of consideration for you to take to your own cushion and for you to meditate on your own. And this discussion, the 7 points, I could do 7 separate videos, and I probably should, but I'm limited in time here, and it also costs me quite a bit on these prepaid phones to get these videos uploaded. So please forgive me as I'm going to go through quickly some of these points and try to give you a little bit of information. You can Google this 7-point mind training, but there are several different 7-point mind training texts out there. They're all wonderful, and it's best if you can get with a living teacher who can help you understand your own neuroses, who can help you understand the struggles that you have, so they can apply and give you specific information to take to your own meditation cushion. So this 7-point mind training is a little bit more general in the sense that if you're wanting to develop your own compassion for others, then this is a really good practice. But let's think about, why do we want to develop compassion? What's the importance of having compassion for somebody else? Particularly, when we're trying to get over our own suffering, we're trying to get over our own neuroses and so on and so forth. Why is it important for me to think about somebody else's problems? Don't I have enough problems of my own? And if you look into some of the research that's been done, particularly brain scans with people like Yongey Mingyur Rinpoche and Matthieu Ricard, if their scans when the MIT and the University of Wisconsin and Madison have hooked them up to this sophisticated biofeedback machinery, they're off the charts. And it's from thousands of hours of meditating on compassion for others. They're off the charts in terms of how happy they are. So what they found is that the happiness centers in the brain are intimately connected with our compassion for others. And compassion is a wish for others to be free from suffering. So if you're dealing with your own depression, I used to get depressed so easily, and I haven't dealt with depression in over 10 years. And it's completely due to compassion meditation. If you're dealing with your own depression, what you've got is a circle. You've got a cycle in the brain, and it keeps going through the same information again and again, trying to find different answers. I always say it's looking for a reset button. I want to reset my brain and my experience back to where it was before these things happened. Or if you're in a cycle of depression that seems to be causeless, it seems to be just a chemical issue, then you're still caught in these circles. And these circles are habituated thought patterns. And by bringing and calling the mind to direct its attention outwardly to somebody else and help them be freed from their own suffering, you're starting to add new tools, new wiring to the system so that it can start finding its way out of this circle, or the Sanskrit term is samsara, to find its way out of the circle that it's habituated itself to. So the 7-point mind training first starts with a kind of an 8th point that isn't there, but it's understood, called Tang Yong. And Tang Yong means equanimity. It means to see all beings as equal as ourselves. We want lasting happiness, and we want to be free from suffering. And so that's something that all beings share in common with one another. We are all looking for a lasting joy, a lasting happiness that is free from even the slightest misery, the slightest dissatisfaction. So that when any of these points you can meditate on for days, months, years at a time, and develop a real intuitive understanding of each one of the points. So Tang Yong, this equanimity, is very, very important to start with. that if we don't recognize that we've all got a problem, then we're not going to ever look for a solution. So the first actual point is called marche, and this means recalling all sentient beings as having been our mother. And if you think about this in terms of the continuum of consciousness, so that there's past lives and there are future lives, then understanding that all other beings also have these continuums, we intertwine with different relationships over lifetimes with different people. So your own mother in this lifetime might have been your child in another lifetime. But for the sake of understanding the development of compassion, we stick with the concept of the mother, that all beings have at least been our mothers at one time. And so you can meditate on this point for a very long time. If you Google any of the information on these 7-point mind trainings, there's going to be a lot more information about each one of the points. Like I said, I could probably do a different video on each one of the points because there's so much to talk about, there's so much to analyze and think about. But you don't need to be spoon-fed. You need to do the work yourself. There's nothing to be gained by being spoon-fed all the information. There's everything to gain by engaging your own mind, using your frontal lobe, and really proactively thinking about this information. That's also going to help add more tools to getting you out of these cycles. The more you use your higher thinking, your higher brain skills, the better and happier you're going to be. So then the next point after marche is called Jinjen, and Jinjen often gets translated to recalling their kindness. Now that you understand that other beings have been your mother, you recall the kindness that they've paid you. They carried you in their womb, they've taken care of you, they fed you when you couldn't feed yourself, wiped your butt, and protected you when you were vulnerable. Think about these wonderful things that they've done for you. And for me, sometimes I don't think of it in the spiritual sense all the time. Sometimes I think about every part of my brain that's here now, somebody else, my relationship with others, information I've gained, has physically caused this brain and this body to be. And that kind of relationship, I'm very thankful for. So Jinjen also means gratitude. Jinjen is, when you say thank you, one other ways to say thank you in Tibetan is kajinche. Kajin means thankfulness and che means great. So you say, oh, kajinche means thank you. So develop this gratitude for the things that your mothers have done for you. Then the next step is called Denso, and this means to repay that kindness. So in repaying this kindness to all our mothers, we think about the things that they've done for us and how wonderful it would be to be able to somehow give back to them, for the taking care of us, the feeding us, and so on. So Jinso is meditating on the need to repay their kindness. Why should we repay that kindness? The next step is called Nyongjompa. Nyongjompa means great love. And love in the Tibetan Buddhist context is an outward emotion. It means to wish that others have happiness. So when you say, oh, I wish someone would love me, I wish someone would love me, this is actually kind of a sentimental addiction. It's not really love. The love that we have for others is an action. It's a verb. We love people. And if you're loving somebody, expecting something back, it's more like a business transaction. That's really not love. Love radiates outwardly. And when you develop a great love for all beings, you see love and you appreciate it in every relationship you see it present. You don't get jealous because those people love each other and those people love each other. Where's the people loving me? Nobody makes you feel what you don't want to feel. So nobody's ever, having somebody there that feels like, it's an illusion, and you're only triggered your own brain into experiencing an emotion that you really don't need them there to experience. But you can really generate a greater sense of love by sending this wish outward to everyone, not just specific individuals, but to every being that you come into contact with. That to love itself is probably the greatest love there is. And so then you actively wish others to have happiness. The next step is called Nyingji Chenpo. Nyingji Chenpo means great compassion. And like love, it's an outward expression, and it means the wish that others be free from suffering. So you think about the suffering that your mothers have gone through themselves, and you're developing this, love for them, and then you develop this wish that they don't have the suffering that they experience. And when you think of your own suffering and how bad it was and how you wish somebody could have pulled you out of that depression or pulled you out of that anxiety or, doused the fire of your anger. Think about how bad it felt for you to have it. Now that you have this opportunity to help others, even just this meditation, thinking about it, is such a freeing experience. And the more you develop this compassion for others and the happier you start to get, you really are going to have the ability to help them more and more be free from their own suffering. So think about this compassion. This is probably the most important point in the entire meditation, because compassion is the root of all of the Buddhist texts. The entire philosophy is about proving the importance of compassion for others and lessening our own self-grasping, our own selfishness. Then you move on to the next step, which is called Laksam Namda. Laksam Namda means a special thought. It's a responsibility. If my mother is in pain, it is my responsibility to help her. I shouldn't just sit around doing nothing, waiting for somebody else to take care of her. So you really develop an understanding of the responsibility, what that means. And every action I'm going to take from now on is going to be dedicated towards helping others. Everything I eat, everything I drink, everything I think, everything I do needs to be geared towards the responsibility of freeing these beings. The better I make myself, the better I will be at helping them. And then the final point is called Jangchu Kisem. Jangchu Kisem means bodhicitta in Sanskrit. It is the wish to become enlightened for all other beings, to benefit all other beings. So this point really needs some background study before you get to it, to understand what does it mean to become a Buddha? What does it mean to become enlightened? What does it mean to achieve this final goal on the Buddhist path? And when you understand this omniscient mind that we are trying to develop, this freedom from our own negative emotions and our own mistaken perceptions, if you can think of it in a point of view, poetically speaking, of becoming a god, becoming, an all-knowing being, then you know exactly what it is that you can do to help other beings. You can see them and see their suffering and apply the right antidotes to their misery and help free them from suffering. So each one of these points, there's lots of information. I think you can go on DalaiLama.com and find information about these 7 points. But if you'll go through this maybe every morning, whenever you decide to meditate, maybe do 10 rounds of breathing in and out as one breath for each one of the topics, and really analyze it, really think about it, and what the meaning is behind each of these points, you're going to start to see your own happiness grow over time. You're going to see your own problems start to diminish over time. So I encourage you to keep a notebook, a diary, a journal, and check yourself out after a couple of months and see where you're at and see what kind of progress you've made. I know I made tons of progress for myself, and I still have a long, long way to go. But I don't deal with depression anymore, and I don't deal with the negative emotions that used to plague me on a regular basis. Now things are a lot better, and I'm still working on it. So I hope that this short video gives you just a little bit to take to your own cushion and into your own daily practice. Anything that you need, any questions in the comment section, and I'll do my best to answer for you.